Shane, we're going into our state rankings where we had quite a few games turn out the way we expected. There was a couple that kind of went in the sour way, both across Class 1A and Class 2A. You take a look at what was really deemed game of the week last week, Orion and Sterling Newman, and Orion squeaked out a 3-point win there, 20-17. What a game that had to be.
Yeah.
Orion up 17-0. Newman storms back, and then Orion gets there on a field goal.
Right. For those of you who get a chance to kind of get out of the area on Saturdays, it's always a good option to go down to Sterling to watch Newman play, especially against last week against Orion. Would have been a great game to see.
Yeah, absolutely. You had a couple other games where they didn't go so much. I mean, we had Dakota ranked at number 6 at one point in our rankings. They laid a burner against Forreston.
They lit a barn on fire.
Yeah. Tri-Valley, a team that we really had up there, they lost one to Fisher. They're now 1-2 on the year. But Fisher's at 3-0.
I mean, Tri-Valley's had a hell of a
start.
schedule.
Yeah. I mean, there are 2 losses. Fisher, who we do have ranked in Class 1A, and St. Teresa, who's still up there.
And, I mean, they weren't terrible losses
2A,
either. So, I mean,
no, they weren't.
Tri-Valley in 2A is a team that could be seen and heard from down the road.
And that's just it. Fisher in 1A. It's a team
the
that we
buddies.
haven't been very high on them. Last year they came up to Ackwen and we picked
them
them to win. They didn't make it, but we picked them to win, and they lost a close one. Well, I tell you what, man, the Bunnies are for real this year.
They're hopping right up there, aren't they?
Oh, man, I love their decal stickers. You know,
Yeah.
They got the little bunny on the top and the little carrots as the pride stickers. That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
But anyway, we're going to bring you our Class 1A and Class 2A state rankings right now. All right, Shane, so I'm going to go ahead and start with my Class 1A state rankings, which much has not changed. At number 1, I still have GCMS, followed by Lena Winslow at number 2, Aurora Christian at number 3, and Tuscola at number 4, Athens at number 5. Now, the bottom 5 is where things start to change. Dakota drops out of my top 10. Ottawa Marquette moves up to number 6. Forreston, with their big win over Dakota, moves up to number 7. Princeville is at number 8. I've moved Argenta Oriana up to number 9. And Fisher breaks into my top 10 for the first time this year at number 10. In the NUIC, ranked in the top 15, Milledgeville's at number 11, and Dakota's at number 15.
Yeah, definitely some shuffling there from last week after some games which we knew would happen. I like the Lena Winslow Panthers at number 1, followed by Tuscola at number 2. Number 3 would be the defending 2A champions in GCMS. Number 4 would be Aurora Christian. I really feel bad for a 9-0 team that's going to get them.
I know. Right?
At number 5, I have Ottawa Marquette. And like you, this is where things start to change a little bit. Athens at number 6. Princeville, we saw them last year in Dakota. They're in my number 17. Number 18 would be Red Hill, followed by Argenta Oriana at number 9. My number 10 team back into the top 10 after their win over Dakota would be the Forreston Cardinals. After that, I have Milledgeville at number 13, and like you, Dakota at 15.
Very good, Shane. So that takes you to our Class 1A panel, where at number 1, we continue with Lena Winslow. They're 3-0 with that 53-13 win over East Dubuque. GCMS comes in at number 2 at 3-0 with their 57-0 win over Hayworth. Number 3 is Aurora Christian. They also improved to 3-0, but their schedule is going to start to get a little bit tougher, but they beat Aurora Central Catholic 50-18. Tuscola is at number 4, also at 3-0 after they beat Moweaqua Central A&M 55-28. Athens remains at number 5 with their 2-1 record after they beat Petersburg Porta in overtime 26-24. Ottawa Marquette moves up to number 6 after they beat Hiawatha 35-0. Princeville comes in at number 7 with their 53-0 win over Biggsville West Central as they remain undefeated on the year. Argenta Oriana moves up to number 8 with their win over Oakwood 38-22. Forreston moves back into number 9 or into the top 10 at number 9 with their 40-20 win over previous number 6 Dakota. And Milledgeville breaks into our top 10 for the first time this year with their 34-8 win over our previous number 16 Stockton Blackhawks. In the honorable mentions, we have from the NUIC, Dakota drops down to number 15 with that loss to Forreston, who previously was number 13 in our rankings. And Stockton is at number 17. They drop a spot after their loss to Milledgeville 34-8. Class 2A, Shane, I have number 1, Maroa Forsyth, once again staying at number 1. Number 2, I have the Orion Chargers. At number 3, I shifted some things around. I moved the St. Teresa Bulldogs up a spot. And at number 4, I dropped the Sterling Newman Comets down a spot after that close, hard-fought loss to Orion. Number 5, I have Chicago Hope, where they remain the same. Number 6 is Bismarck Henning. Number 7 is Rockridge. Number 8 is Pana. Number 9, I moved up Carthage Illini West. And at number 10, I dropped West Hancock after they lost to Clark County, Missouri. In my NUIC teams outside the top 10, I have EPC as they have moved back into my top 15. They are at number 11.
And it'll be interesting to see 2A next week if EPC can happen to pull off a win at Forreston. Like you, Maroa Forsyth number 1, followed by Orion at number 2, St. Teresa at number 3, 4 would be Sterling Newman. I mean, those have been the top 4 teams all year. I mean, when you barely beat each other, you shouldn't deserve to drop. Number 5 would be Rockridge, followed by Pana at 6. My number 7 team is Chicago Hope. After Chicago Hope, I have Bismarck Henning at number 8, West Hancock at 9. Also in my top 10 is Carthage Illini West. Like you, I also like the EPC Wildcats at number 11, just knocking on the door at number 10.
Very good. So that's going to give you our Class 2A panel. Maroa Forsyth comes at number 1. They are 3-0 after they beat Pittsfield 76-0. Yeah, 76-0. Number 2 is Orion as they move up to number 2 with their 20-17 win over previous number 2 Sterling Newman. St. Teresa moves up to number 3 with their 53-0 win over Macon Meridian. Sterling Newman drops from number 2 to number 4 after they lost to Orion 20-17. Chicago Hope remains the same at 2-1 with their 54-13 win over Elgin St. Edward. At number 6 we have Rockridge. They are undefeated 3-0 after they beat Port Byron Riverdale 43-14. At number 7 we have Bismarck Henning, who is perfect on the year with their 21-7 win over Hoopston. At number 8 is Pana. They are perfect as well with their 27-2 win over Gillespie. Number 9 is Carthage Illini West as they jump into our top 10 with their 20-18 win over Knoxville. And if you remember correctly, Shane, Knoxville started out in the AP poll ranked number 5 this year. They are 1-2 on the year already to start.
Yeah.
West Hancock drops to number 10, but staying in the number 10 with their 2-1 record after they lost to Clark County, Missouri 42-6. And cracking back into our top 15 is EPC as they jump all the way back up to number 11 after they beat Dupec 36-0. They are 3-0 on the year. All right, moving into our NUIC Power 5, Shane. We had some good games take place. I'll go ahead and start. At number 1 still are the Lena Winslow Panthers. I think until somebody beats them, they are a lock in that position. For me, moving back up to number 2 are the Forreston Cardinals. Well, I shouldn't say moving back up. They have moved up to number 2 with their win over previous number 2 Dakota. Number 3 is the Milledgeville Missiles. Their big win over Stockton still leaves them at number 3 only because I was more impressed with Forreston's win. At number 4, I have brought back in the EPC Wildcats as they are undefeated on the year. They have a big game this week against Forreston. And sticking at number 5, despite their loss, the closeness of the game is what kept them in it for me, are the Stockton Blackhawks. Despite the score, the game itself was close.
Very good. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to fault a team when the scoreboard just looks a little worse than what it was. Lena Winslow, number 1. I mean, that's a given. Followed by Forreston at number 2. You see this kind of shaping up to be what it's been the last couple of years here.
Yep.
Number 3 would be Milledgeville. Back into my top 5 would be EPC at 4. And my number 5 team, despite the shellacking they took, would be Dakota.
Very good. So that brings our Power 5 as a panel to this. At number 1 remains Lena Winslow. They're 3-0 on the year. At number 2 are the Forreston Cardinals, as they are 2-1. Number 3 is Milledgeville, where they will remain for another week, as they are 3-0. Back into our Power 5 is EPC, as they are 3-0 at number 4. And rounding out our Power 5 are the Stockton Blackhawks, as they drop to 2-1, but remain at the number 5 spot. Alright, that gives you a look at our NUIC Power 5 along with our Class 1A and Class 2A state rankings. Shane, once again, we got a lot of great games on the docket this week. We got good games that are taking place outside of our area as well. Should be another great week of football. Leading into some things. I think there's a lot of big games out there that are really going to go the way that they should. Well, some others are really going to be close.
Yeah. Not as much as last week as far as the amount of games, but definitely a good amount. Just kind of getting you a little taste for next week, as we got some big matchups going in the next week. But get out to whatever game you want to see. But if I had to make a suggestion, pick one of the top 3 that we've listed. You'll probably be best suited with one of those.
Yes, I agree. So, I mean, Aquin, Polo, Forreston, EPC, West Carroll, Stockton, those 3 games are really going to be at the top of the slate this week as must-see games.
Right.
Like you said, I don't think you're going to be disappointed going to any one of those 3 games. Obviously, if you root for the team, you're going to go to that game, so that's understandable. Either way, get out to the games this week. As always, root for the NUIC.